Welcome to this episode of Relatively Famous, the podcast where I, Chip White, interview relatives of famous people. My famous relative is Vanna White of Wheel of Fortune. She's my sister, hence the podcast. My guest today is a gentleman I met at Podfest. I'm having a conversation with one guy who happened to be a relative of Rocky Marciano, and next thing you know, this guy goes, "Hey, my uncle is Randall Morris, number 43, retired from the Seattle Seahawks." And I'm like, dude, let's chat. So I got to talking with William Nave, and I said, okay, I'm going to contact you. You're going to be a guest. Well, today I get to have William on. And before we get William on, I want to thank our sponsor. That's visitmyrtlebeach.com. That's visitmyrtlebeach.com. You're looking for the perfect family vacation, golf trip, scuba trip. You want to do a little surfing. You want to play some mini golf. You want to eat some amazing food. Go to Myrtle Beach, the whole Grand Strand area, and you can plan all that at visitmyrtlebeach.com. If you happen to have an autistic or sensory sensitive child, go to visitmyrtlebeach.com and learn how the city and what facilities and restaurants and hotels cater to autistic and sensory sensitive. You can learn more about that also on Traveling the Spectrum on Peacock. Again, visitmyrtlebeach.com. Now, let's welcome William Nave, nephew of Randall Morris, retired number 43 from the Seattle Seahawks.
Relatively Famous podcast with Chip White.
Will, welcome to welcome to the podcast Relatively Famous.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so we met just a couple weeks ago, down in Florida at Podfest. You were there talking about your podcast, and I was talking to someone. Love your T-shirt. Tell me about it.
This T-shirt is actually a design I created with my different facial expressions. And, as comedians, we basically have different emotions that we have and we express. So, happy, sad, just a little bit of everything. And, comedians talk about a little bit of everything. And it says fried laughs. The reason why it says fried laughs is because I'm also a certified chef. And I'm also a comedian, both 28 years. So, different facial expressions. You got the microphone, the laughing, and the fried piece of chicken.
which is cool. And that's kind of what, when we started talking, it's like, dude, you got to be on, because you had your chef shirt on, and then you said, I'm a comedian, and we talked about some of your comedy act, a comedy skit you just written. So let's start with first. Tell everybody about your uncle, because I want to establish this relationship, because it is relatively famous. Tell me a little bit about your uncle and your relationship.
My relationship with my uncle, it actually started when I was actually a child. My mom, she dated his older brother, Gregory, or Greg. And Greg was my stepdad. And so it was just like, he's been in the family, like way, long time. And he stayed in the family. So basically till I got grown. So it was always like, hey, there goes, Randall, there's Uncle Randall. We call him Uncle Randall. And, being a little kid, you're like, oh, okay. I'm like 5, 6 years old, 7 years old. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. He plays professional football. I'm like, and then Greg had a son and he named him after his brother, Randall. And, when I'm a kid, you get stuff mixed up. I used to call Randall, and Randall. So they would laugh at me and everything. But it was just like, and they'd be like, no, that's Randall. Randall is his son. That's Randall. That's Uncle Randall. So, but he would come around, and I remember being a kid throwing the football in the street and whenever he come into town. So it was just so cool. And his brother Greg, which is his older brother, like I said, he would just spend time with us and take us to the Grand Prix, and just because my dad wasn't there all the time. And so with Greg being, a positive role model in my life, and he having a son that's, the same age, it was really cool, So having that father figure, that stepdad in my life was an awesome thing. And a lot of people sometimes don't get that, but I actually was blessed to have Greg in my life. And so me and his son, we played Pop Warner football at Long Beach Poly, and Randall went to Long Beach Poly. So it was just like I remember playing Pop Warner, and my position was corner, and that's the person that guards the wide receiver. Well, I played shortly. Now, this is the funny part. I played shortly for the simple fact that I remember getting my gear and everything. When you do all the everything you got to do to get up to the point where you get your gear, your helmet, your knee pads, and shoulder pads, and all of this, and got your cleats. And my mom went out and got me these nice cleats from Big Five, and I remember they were like, "All right, well, it's time to line up and it's time to hit." I'm like, "Hit? No, no, no! Don't hit me. I want to hit you." I'm thinking, all I had to do was just go out and hit. But see, I didn't want nobody to hit me. So I was like, I guess the best defensive person, but I never wanted to be hit by nobody. And this is crazy. It was short lived, and I laugh at it now. But so the first time I go out, I'm like, boom, I hit somebody, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then they were like, all right, let's switch. And I go out and try to catch a ball, being a wide receiver, and bam, he hit me. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. You know what? Let me take this chin strap off. This is it, buddy. I'm retiring early. I do not want nobody to hit me. And they like looking at me like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, I don't want nobody to hit me. I want to hit you. So
Now you said
my
that.
mom was like, I can't believe you spend this money and everything, and you get hit, you want to quit. But I was just like, hey, I told you I want to hit, not be hit.
They probably figured because your uncle that you're going to be a star football player. And now when we were talking out front, you said that as an uncle, I get this because there are gaps in my nephew's life. You said that you guys have kind of reestablished this relationship now that you're a little bit older.
Mm-hmm.
How's it a little obviously different because of age, but what's it like when you guys get together right now? And we're going to delve into your wild career soon here, but
and how it is like we'll talk on the phone and everything, and like whenever I get a chance to go to Seattle, I've been trying to link up with him, but it's just like he's so busy and doing different things and activities and doing golf tournaments and to raise money and everything like that. And that's a great thing. He have like a celebrity golf tournament where different celebrities come out and they play golf. And this new one, the most recent one's coming up, is going to be in July at El Dorado Park in Long Beach. So that's going to be like different football players, more retired players. And it's not, like you don't have to be like a professional golfer. They just having people come out and sponsor, and just it's for a good cause. And so I was talking to him on the phone and everything, and I told him, hey, if you need me, I'm here. Here's my number. I'm like, I want to do that. I do have some beat up clubs, so I might have to go to like rent a club or something like that.
well,
But I got a whole bunch of different mixed up ones, and I'm ready to play, man. But yeah, so
it's a lot of fun when you get to play in a charity tournament because it's not the pressure's not on. Now he's made his career in football. He's retired, but the fact is, what you were telling me, you're even though you got the Golden Gate behind you, you live in Long Beach. You're from Long Beach, and you're part of the class that the movie Freedom Riders was about.
Yes.
Right. Tell me about that part of your childhood, teenhood, and then seeing it portrayed on the big screen. What was it? BS? Was it true? Was it kind of made you feel good? Was like
as far as that goes with the Freedom Riders, a lot of it, was true. Like I said, it was 150 students. I'm like the second group. There's a class above me, which is a class of 96. So I think it's all together. It's like about 4 different classes. So we got 96. Let me see, 96, 97, 98, and 99, if I'm Correct. So it's 150 of us, and we all got together. We were in class, and it all started as a joke. Like they say, one kid by the name of Sherrod Moore, good friend of mine, he was a student at Poly, and he came over as a transfer, to play football and everything like that, and run track. And he's a coach now himself, great coach. And they were making fun of him, because his lips were rather large, and they were passing a note around the classroom. And another guy by the name of Melvin, and he drew a picture, and the guy's lips were really big on there. You know how kids joke around and everything, and you passing the note around, and people's giggling and laughing and everything like that. And then it finally got around and was like, Miss G was like, let me see that paper. Let me see that paper. And she's looking at the paper, and she says, oh my goodness, I can't believe, who is this picture of? And they're like, everybody's like, Larry Slevin, it's Sherrod, it's Sherrod. So he felt all bad and everything. And do you know, like, these pictures, do you know what this reminds me of? And she goes into, this reminds us of the Holocaust and how they used to draw pictures of the Jewish people and with big noses and everything like that. And this is no different. You're teasing and mimicking and make fun of people, from different cultures and different backgrounds. And, she started talking about the Holocaust, and that's when we were sitting there like, hey, have you read the book of Anne Frank and everything like that? And we're like, oh, no, we didn't know who Anne Frank was. So it was just like, we're teaching her something. She's teaching us something. They like, well, let me tell you about this. We're going to read the diary of Anne Frank. Boom, that's how everything started. So from that, reading the diary, we were like, okay, well, let's go into our own lives, dip into our own lives, and we should write a diary ourselves and things that we've went through as inner city youth and teenagers. And so what we did was we wrote about our lives, and we came up with the diary, which is the Freedom Writers Diary. And so with everybody writing their stories and, getting the sponsors and everything that we needed, and we got to meet Steven Spielberg. He took us to Universal Studios, and Connie Chong was there, and we got to see the private screening of Schindler's List, which was awesome. And by the way, Steven Spielberg is the super most coolest dude ever. Jeans, hat, t-shirt type of guy. You could just so approachable, so humble. And with me being the chef, that really meant a lot because Steven Spielberg bought me my first filet mignon when he took the class to Lowry's in Beverly Hills. So I want to say a shout out to Steven Spielberg. Thank you for introducing me to my first filet mignon. It was delicious, and I've eaten so many since then.
Now, was that a callous for you wanting to become a chef?
You know what? I've always wanted to cook ever since I was little. Just get in the kitchen. My dad taught my mom, and my mom taught me. My dad is from Oklahoma, and we're part Cherokee on my dad's side of the family. And so my dad is half. My grandfather is full blood Cherokee from Oklahoma, Wewoka, and that makes me a quarter. And so it was just like just family, just getting in the kitchen. My family had a restaurant in Long Beach when they finally came out here from Oklahoma. It was called Callie's Kitchen. We had we owned a bar. It was Tobo's, and that was a lot of longshoremen. That bar lasted about 65, 70 years, I want to say, and we just recently sold that. But a lot of family businesses, and just cooking. So, but just with that being done, my dad would always go in there and get in the kitchen and cook and be the life of the party, making everybody laugh. So I think that's where I got the laughing and the cooking from. Then my mom taught me how to cook, and I was literally on the crate at 5 or 6 years old, cooking breakfast, making the toast, just starting with the easy stuff, scrambling the eggs. And then once I got tall enough to reach over the stove and everything, it was just like, all right, well, you can make the bacon and look at your light, make sure the light's not too high, and just kept cooking. And next thing you know, I'm like, get to the age where hey, why not go to culinary school? It's something that I've always done, and why not get the paperwork for it? Because I was already cooking and making good food. And as far as the comedy, I've been doing making people laugh ever since I was like 3, 4, 5 years old. And my first two um, impressions was Dr. Ruth and Gandhi. So
Let's hear them.
doing yeah. Let's see. Dr. Ruth was more like I remember I used to have ask my mom for permission. I'd be like, can I say the word? You know, the butt, the ass. So I'll be like, this is Dr. Ruth, and today we are going to talk about the ass. And you are talking about it is the daddy which you sit on, and it is very important. And that's what I have to tell people. The house is very important. So I'm just like doing that, and then Gandhi. I remember like an aunt, she gave me these little spectacles, right? And they were shaped just like Gandhi. And all I can remember is watching the movie like Gandhi when I was a kid. And I'd get out the tub and I'd wrap a white sheet around me and, you know, cross my legs like Indian style and everything like that. Don't ask me to do it now because I can't do that. No, it's not happening. You know, I'm not that flexible anymore. But I'll be like, look at me, I am Gandhi. I am Gandhi. Look at me. You know, I just want the peace for everyone. And I am Gandhi. Yes. And just with me doing that at 4 or 5 years old, man, it was just like going from there and doing Bill Cosby and just doing all these different voices and impressions and everything. And that's how I started, making people laugh. My mom, she was raising myself and my older sister. We're like 6.5 years apart. And I see how hard my mom was working, and I'll be like, "Mom, let me make you laugh." She come from working 2 jobs. Let me make you laugh, and she's like, "Okay, boy. Let me settle down. Let me get my coat off, and you can make me laugh." And so I would do that, and I'll make her laugh. But the one cool thing I would say about my mom, she actually, now this is a cool fact. She went on went to a luncheon in Newhall with her sister-in-law, and when she did that, they end up being on the set of Roots, Palmerstown, USA. And she's at the table and she's sitting there cracking jokes because she got some jokes too. She tried to be a comedian too, but she cracking jokes. And she like looking at this guy at the end of the table. She said, "Who that funny looking man down there at the end of the table with them big old glasses on? Who is that?" And her sister-in-law, she's like, "Girl, don't be doing that. Don't be saying nothing about these people, and definitely don't be saying about that man." And she's like, whatever, I'm gonna say he funny looking at me. He funny looking at me. And so the guy hears her, and he's like, "I like you. You funny. I like you. What's your name?" She said, "My name's Candy." And he said, "Well, you know what? You you want a job?" And she said, "Yeah, I'll take a job." And she said, "Well, I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I'll take the job." And he said, "Well, this is what you do. Here's my card. You go across the street to the dealership. You tell them I told you to pick out a vehicle, and you pick out the vehicle you want." So my mom picked out a Datsun. It was a brown Datsun. I remember that. And next thing you know, she drove that car off the lot from them calling that man. You know who
Wow.
that man was? That
Who?
man she made fun of and bought her a car so she could start work was the one and only Alex Haley.
Wow.
Alex Haley gave my mom her first acting job. Palmerstown, USA. She played the double for Jermaine Johnson, who was the paper boy, and they dressed her up and put a little cap on her. And yeah, she was Jermaine Johnson's double in Palmerstown, USA.
That's
So
wild. That's pretty cool.
yeah,
Okay, now let's back up to the chef for a minute.
okay.
I come out to Long Beach.
Hmm.
We're gonna reconnect after Podfest. What's the meal you're going to cook for me?
The meal I'm going to cook for you. We go out here. Are you cool with shrimp? You like pasta?
Love shrimp. I'm a Carolina beach
Okay,
boy.
yeah. Let's do some shrimp pasta with some scallops in there, and like with some fettuccine noodles and Alfredo sauce. Yeah, I can see myself making that for you. Some nice French garlic bread, and let's see what else. If you like cheesecake, I can also do cheesecakes.
Okay.
Um, I can make you a personal cheesecake if you want.
I
And the
love
thing about
dessert.
my cheesecakes is I can take any alcohol and infuse it into a cheesecake. And the most recent one I was showing people over there at the Pie Fest was my Jack Daniel's Tennessee honey cheesecake with pecan praline crust. So
That sounds good. Okay.
pretty.
So you wrote some comedy about my sister. I'm going to bring her
Mhm.
along. What's the meal you're going to make for her?
The meal I can make for her. Hmm. I can actually make her. I would think she'd be a breakfast person. So I would make her a nice, fluffy omelet with some mushrooms, have a little bit of garlic, have a little bit of spinach in there. Uh, Let me see some mozzarella cheese, some pepper jack cheese, Kobe Jack. Get that all nice right there and turn that over and make it be like a golden, nice, fluffy omelet, maybe with some wheat toast. And you guys are from what state now?
South Carolina. I was going to
North
test you on
Carolina. So I'm pretty
South
sure you
Carolina.
guys. Okay, yeah, so I'm pretty sure you guys eat grits and everything. So I give her some nice cheese grits, right? And put some shrimp in those cheese grits and a little bit of Cajun sausage on top of that. So you got an omelet, some cheese grits, some sausage, and some toast, and a nice big old glass of orange juice. How
There
about
you go.
that
That
for
sounds
Vanna?
okay. Now I'm hungry. You went to culinary school. You became a chef. You got the paperwork. I think you said your card said you're a personal chef now,
Yeah,
and
personal chef and a caterer.
and a
Yes,
ca- and a comedian.
and a comedian.
I'm not gonna have you do your jokes because the Vanna jokes because don't you save that for your live audience.
Uh
But we did talk about you got the seal of approval from the Whites. What's been your like the being on stage? Because I wanted to be a comedian. I was a
Okay.
MC for wet t-shirt and bikini and short shorts contest, and dude, when it was on, it was on. Moved out to LA, total cold feet. Like, wait, this is a lot of work. What's been that highest moment on stage for you? What show? Like, dude, man, I was on fire. I was in the atmosphere. What do you have a particular show that you remember? Like that was the pinnacle at the moment.
Um, I would say my first show. I would have to say it would be two shows. So my first show is when they had the Mr. Bruin contest at the high school, and it was just senior men, and I was the only one to do stand up comedy, you know. And I went out there, and it was classmates, it was teachers, it was parents, and I went up there and I did stand up comedy in front of the whole school, and they clap, they applaud. But then the next day when I came to school, everybody was like saying, like, man, you really funny. Like you really went up there and did stand-up comedy. And, teachers are shaking my hand like, okay, so you're not just bugging us in the class and talking and all this and doing all this. You're really a comedian. So it was just like I'm like, yeah, I told y'all this is what I love to do. This is what I'm going to do. And then just to hear friends like years later saying, you said you were going to do that, and that's what you did. And then I say the second one would be like, man, I did it was um, the Comedy Store, which was the first place, like the major comedy club I went and had the opportunity to do it. You got the main room, the belly room is upstairs in the original room. And I finally completed like all the rooms, and what was it? The original room, I got a standing ovation. And that was just like the pinnacle, right? And I'm like, next, man, my name is going to be on that wall. And I'm still grinding. I'm still doing what I got to do. And it was just awesome, just to get that feedback, to a standing ovation, man. I'm like, I did all the rooms. Yay. Who can say I did all the rooms, man? And that was just a blessing, man. And just being there and just meeting all the people that I've met, man. I've met Chris Rock. I've talked to him, sat there and talked to him one night, 45 minutes. And it was just like, he's the coolest dude, most humblest guy.
Well, that's because he's from
And
South Carolina, man.
oh, I thought he was New York.
No, he's from Georgetown, South Carolina.
Okay.
Now, you got your Fried Laughs t-shirt on. You were at
Mm-hmm.
Podfest. Tell me about your podcast.
Okay, my podcast is relatively new. So I started it on TikTok because everybody
don't
on
be stealing
TikTok.
don't be stealing my name
TikTok.
relatively. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
What's the name of your podcast?
It's new. It's kind of new. It's new. And the crazy thing is, I didn't realize I said that. It was wow. But it's new, and so the first episode is like extremely long. I think I did like at least an hour and maybe 20. But I was just talking about myself and just like letting people know about me as a comedian, as a person, and it was pretty cool. I had this other guy get on and he talked to me for about 30 minutes. So that was cool. And half the knuckleheads get on there, some young people trying to call me grandpa. And I'm like, what are you doing, grandpa? And I'm like, you would love to be a grandpa, even though I'm not a grandpa, but I'm just like, live a little longer, young person. It was a guy and a girl, and you have the opportunity to have somebody co-host, and I just politely got them off the podcast. But me and the other guy, we were, stayed in contact. We switched information and everything, and that guy was really cool. And I think he was from like, man, what was he like, Kansas? I think he was from Kansas, but really cool dude. And I know it's just more to come, with my setup, and I don't have my backdrop right now with me.
That's all right.
But
What's the name of the podcast? Fried Laughs?
Fried Laughs. And so with that being said, is I'm gonna go from that, and once I get everything set up the way I want it to, I'm gonna be bringing people on, and we're gonna be cooking, and we're gonna be laughing. So Fried Laughs, we're gonna be cooking up simple stuff, something that I can do something really quick, or teaching, comedians and actors, and and we bring some regular folks on there too. But my thing is to just be like, going back and forth, and as far as just laughing and cracking jokes, and learning how to make meals, and definitely not seasoning the grease like Paula Patton did. Ooh, watch this thing.
One of
Seasoning
the
the grease.
there was I can't remember, drawing a blank on the guy's name. He played for, I think, LSU. He was a big college football player. He's like 6'8", but he teaches a cooking class in New Orleans. That used to be at the New Orleans School of Cooking or something, down in the quarter. But he mixed laughter while he was giving these courses, and it was just awesome, man. So I love the idea,
Yeah.
and take that further as teaching people to cook with humor mixed in, and you'll be knocking Joe Rogan out of number one.
Maybe I have Joe Rogan on the show.
There
so
you
now
go.
he can be better. Why
Cook.
not? I'm open to, he's a great comedian, by the way, too.
Yeah.
And a good MMA fighter. I've seen him. Don't mess with Joe.
That's it. You know what? You can reach out to your celebrity and say, I want to cook this meal with you on the podcast, and we're going to laugh about it.
Mm-hmm.
But that have to be more visual than the other. So, but Will, we're running out of time.
Mm-hmm.
What question did I not ask you that you wish I'd have asked you?
Oh, man. What question? It's so many. I guess what I see for myself um, in the future, and what's coming up. You know, as far as my career and everything like that. I guess that would be a good one.
So where do you see yourself? Where do you see your career going?
I see my career as far as a comedian and chef, just expanding, networking with great people like you, Chip, and just reaching out to be able to, eventually be in movies and having my show, my podcast, possibly turn it into a TV show. That would be great. I see myself writing more, writing for other comedians, and definitely getting a Netflix special. Maybe even have my show. Oh, matter of fact, not maybe having my show on Netflix. So Netflix, if you're listening, Fried Laughs is coming to you soon. Yeah, Fried Laughs on Netflix. That's right, baby.
All
Fried
right.
Laughs on Netflix.
Well, we're putting it out in the universe, Will. Hey, I appreciate your time today, and
Thank you.
I look forward to our past cross, and I look forward to my shrimp and scallops with some pasta.
Oh, definitely. And don't forget the garlic bread.
There you go. Oh, man. All right, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, man. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, Phil.
All right.
All
Thanks.
right. Have a great one.
You too.
Take care.
Oh, man, I'm starving now, and I'm looking forward to some good meals. It was so fun having Will on. I love the fact that he's going to mix a little laugh with some good food. Will, thanks for being on the show. I want to thank you, the viewer, the listener. Man, I'm so thrilled that you are here. Without you, the podcast would just be out in thin air. I want to thank our sponsor, visitmyrtlebeach.com. If you're looking for the perfect family vacation and you're looking for some good seafood, go to visitmyrtlebeach.com. Go along the Grand Strand of South Carolina, the most beautiful beach in the world to me. And I think it's a wonderful place to visit. That's visitmyrtlebeach.com. I want to thank Nelco Media, our producers. I want to thank Nelco Comics for the amazing, great location. If you're looking for an unusual comic book or maybe Axicab comic, be sure to come into Nelco Comics in San Antonio. Lastly, if you're related to someone famous or you happen to know someone related to someone famous, I'm always looking for guests. Reach out to me at podcastrelativelyfamous@gmail.com. That's podcastrelativelyfamous@gmail.com. Thanks, everybody.
You've been listening to Relatively Famous with Chip White. Please like and subscribe to Relatively Famous with Chip White.